Welcome to the Tales of New Dunhaven. This week we have the Crimson Lions crew, starring Mykin.
Hi.
Hawkflight.
Hello.
Azure Mountain.
Hey.
And DreadPriest. Was that really
you just
necessary?
Had to go and ruin
Was
it,
that
didn't
necessary
you?
at all? Oh boy. Alright, previously in New Dunhaven, the Crimson Lions crew was actually the first to work with the broker Diane, helping her steal back a little local museum from a greedy noble on behalf of an elder commoner. Since then, they've heard about the takedown of the corrupt magistrate who officiated that land transfer, but it's been a little while since their last job. Now the leverage arm of the arrangement has appeared, but so far only a handful of crews have stopped by to even consider those charity jobs. Seemingly on a whim, today the Crimson Lions have come back to hear out a job on behalf of another commoner. And since a couple of you are playing new or slightly retconned characters, and it's been quite a while since your the first job and also your only job so far, though we'll split into two sessions. We'll just reintroduce you guys one by one. I think you are to hear out the job. You are called to an administrative tower in a somewhat remote place in the city. At the top of that tower is a sort of office structure sort of thing. Let's start with the characters we already know. Like, for instance, Mykin.
Jeez. So, let's see. I'm just introducing how my character walks in.
Well, and also introduce your character's name.
All right, of course. So, Gideon Bashir, I'm playing a family boss, and Gideon walks in with a particularly new suit, a little cloak around his shoulders, a cane, walking in all just relaxed as if he kind of owns the place, which he really doesn't. And then he kind of just looks around, notices that the rest of his crew isn't here, and relaxes just a bit. Takes out a flask and downs the entire thing before going back to his regular professional self.
All right. I guess either DreadPriest or Hawkflight should probably go next.
And Hawk just said last for roleplay reasons.
Oh. Sure, okay. So Dread, how about you go next?
Okay. So Gustav, a Gravedigger alchemist, just sort of appears in the room.
No, how do you get in?
Way.
How do you get in?
Yeah. He just walks in, but he's just like, oh, suddenly you realize he's there. Because he's the kind of guy you just look at and he just sort of blends in with his outfit.
Hey, Gustav.
A Gravedigger blends in.
Somehow.
The guys who commonly wear plague doctor masks.
Yeah, you see that and you don't know which one it is, so.
Blending into an office building.
You're conspicuous.
You made.
It makes sense to me.
I'm gonna put it as simply as I possibly can. You're cool. You're not that cool.
No, Gideon just basically just watches you walk into the door and just go, hi. Okay. No.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, never mind. Whatever. I'm not going to ruin anyone else's introductions. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so Gustav's just going to sit down and start reading over some alchemy notes.
All right, then. Azure Mountain, you've brought a brand new character to this group.
Yep. I am playing Lucky Simon, a forgotten dabbler. So Simon walks in, introduces himself, and asks if anyone wants to play a game.
No, not today.
I'm down.
I'm too drunk right now.
All right. Well, if no one accepts his offer, he's just going to sit down at a table and play solitaire.
Hey, I'm in. Oh, wait, no, wait.
You're not there yet.
You're not here yet.
Yeah, never mind. Yeah, that was how I was like, hey, you know what? I'll come in last for roleplay reasons. Oh, wait, I'm here. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Now, I can imagine your character just popping her head through the door and saying, I'm here!
So yeah, he just pulls out a deck of cards and plays solitaire.
So what's Hawkflight's entrance?
Well, I walk in last. The character is Erin Lynn Kavanagh. And she's a tall figure, a bit of a boyish figure. She's dressed in simple clothes. Is easy to move around in. She's got the kind. She looks a bit tired. Got like bags under her eyes. But she still looks like she's still like a. She kind of looks almost like a commoner. The sort of but like the sort that you just can't help but like.
A little bit charming.
Pardon?
A little bit charming.
Yeah.
As your quirk would say.
Yeah. A little bit charming. Also very tired. Bags under her eyes.
Yep.
So you did play Erin Lynn Kavanagh last time, but you've kind of retconned her cartel and specialty, if I remember correctly.
Yes, in the previous game she was a circle magus. Now that all of the materials come out, I've slightly retconned her to be a Weir Warden. Or a Warden Weir. Weir of the Wardens.
Weir of the Wardens of the Night.
Yes.
The animal-focused magical specialty.
Exactly. So, you may have seen her walking through the streets. Maybe feeding the birds, petting the occasional dog, falling asleep on the spot. She's a bit of a narcoleptic.
All right then. So, you all.
So I do. So what I do is I walk into the room, I sit at a table and I sort of put my head in my hand, I sort of half-lidded, just looking like, yeah, I'm listening.
Gideon offers her a flask. She looks like she needs one.
I gratefully accept the flask, and I take a drink.
Alrighty then.
All right. When you're all gathered, from one of the outer rooms comes Diane, the same eye-patched woman who gave you the little museum job.
Fancy seeing you here again.
Well, I've moved up in the world since we first met, but it is nice to see you all as well. Although I think you're new.
Yeah. Hey, Simon or Lucky, whichever. Doesn't matter.
Very well. You notice that she seems rather concerned about sort of something sort of staring off in the distance. But she shakes her head and then says, let's get to the nature of this week's job, shall we? And
all right.
She leads you all into the sort of central conference room where a man and woman are already seated at this conference table. And Diane sits at sort of the head of the table and invites the four of you to sit down across from them.
All right.
And she introduces them, saying, "This is Martha and John Woods, and they have a job for you." And upon seeing your band, particularly the Warden and the family and the Gravedigger, the two who you see they're married, they have the rings on their hands. They sort of look at each other nervously and go, "Really, these kinds of people?"
No, don't worry. I can personally attest that we will be able to do whatever it is that you want us to do with the utmost respect and professionalism. So no need to be worried.
I'd like to roll gossip with commoners to put them at ease.
Ooh, I like it.
Ooh.
Go ahead and make that check.
By the way, that dress of snort was partially in character.
And let's see. Where is that other thing? All right, and I get 2 advantage dice for Salt of the Earth.
Right.
Jeez. Not even 5 minutes in.
All right, no advantage dice, but I succeeded.
Well, we managed to get a face character now. That's good.
Kind of an
Well,
an
at least when you're talking
character.
with commoners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Dabbler specialty is the jack of all trades because their anything else skill is 65%. And
Yep.
all their benefits are basically, I'm going to be probably pushing my luck to roll a ton of challenge dice, so I'm going to add like a crap ton of advantage dice to just about everything.
Gosh, dang
And
it.
and
And
re-roll
I
a bunch
also
of
have
things.
the I also have the Lucky Charm quirk, which lets me reroll an advantage or challenge dice when both are present.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So, they are put at ease by you sort of making some small talk, and they trust you sort of implicitly.
So what's the job?
Diane sort of looks at you askance and says, "You do have some of the details, right? And you should because the sort of job notice board I put up outside the game, in game that's represented by your contacts, sort of feeding you information about these potential jobs to go on.
Right, we're protecting a
Yes.
protecting a child,
So it's diegetic.
but the details.
Right.
Yeah, because it seems a little much to go outside to protect someone for a birthday party. Unless there's something you're seriously worried about.
Well, John, the husband, sort of nods and says, we're concerned for our son, Billy. It's his birthday tomorrow. Tomorrow, all day tomorrow, we're going to be holding a big old party at our complex, Sunset Heights. And there's just been, over this past week, there's been some things we're concerned about. Him talking about strange men showing up at his school. Martha, there was that man. The wife nods and says, I am certain that someone's been watching me at work and on my way to and from work and at our home. And John also pipes in with,
Can I roll to see if these people seem familiar? Like I've seen them before?
I can just tell you that these people have not been of any concern to you ever before.
Okay.
And
So
John continues saying, and when I tried to get, the thing is, where we live, there's not a city watch post very close by to us. So when I went to go there on foot to file a report, there were these intimidating men coming down the same street, and I just sort of went back home and wrote to them instead. And the soonest we're gonna be able to get the city watch on our side is, well, tomorrow after the party.
Okay, so do you know what these tough men look like? Is there anything?
It was late at night. The moon had cloud cover. I just knew that there was a group of them, and several of them were very muscular.
All right. So I'd like to point out real quick that only the Weir has a combat skill above 65, which is shoot something at 80%.
Okay. Good.
Are you sure?
Yeah. The boss has a
Wait, who do we
65%
have?
chance to brawl with someone, and then I have a 60% for anything else. 65% for anything else.
I have 65 to throw
Yeah.
and
Did you check
90
your,
to alchemy.
Yes, but I have
Did you
minions on
check
my
your circle
side.
as well?
What was that?
No, I was just
Did you check
saying.
your circle as well as your specialties?
Azure Mountain is a dabbler. Mykin
You
is
might,
a boss, and DreadPriest is an alchemist.
and we used to have Love Knot, who was a circle brawler, but he's busy,
Yeah.
so he's not going to be able to play for a while.
So basically with this job, we're trying our hardest not to be loud.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking about is we're basically going to do a Home Alone it. Just set up a whole bunch of traps and let them just fall into it.
Yeah, and I'll save the sewers exploding for next time.
Let's continue on with meeting the guys first, and we can plan later.
Yeah.
That is how this works, after all.
Okay.
Yeah. So okay. So you didn't see how, and I guess, so you have literally no knowledge, no description, no like inkling of a clue as to why these muscular gentlemen are targeting you, so to speak.
I mean, I'm an editor for a very small newspaper, And Martha here is a public accountant, and our son Billy, he's just a boy going to a public school. We don't know why would we be targeted in this way.
Did you publish any articles? Did you publish any articles recently?
Nothing about the cartels. Nothing about the crown or no one of. It's like local stories and like about, kittens being rescued from trees, that sort of thing. Obituaries and
hard to imagine anyone upset about kittens being rescued.
Advertisements for local businesses. I mean, goodness gracious.
Here's a question, just sort of out of character, but should be known in character as well. What cartel controls the area?
It's a commoner district. The area they're describing, Sunset Heights, and that particular complex, is not strictly controlled by any one gang. It's not terribly valuable territory. There's like street gangs and sort of like nearby districts, and the closest cartel presence in the area would probably be the Circle.
That's actually what I was just hearing the description. It almost sounds like they're planning an expansion and trying to put a lien on people.
Then why all this lurking around? Look, what we just want, and it's not like we have the money to hire dredgers, so here we are, but we just want someone to be there at the party and just try and make sure that Billy gets through the day, so before the City Watch comes.
What about you two?
And us, I suppose, but
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. Nothing will happen to you or your family. You have my word. I'll see to it personally.
Just be there. I mean, we can probably come up with some plausible excuses for you to be there. The thing is, it's not just a birthday party. It's like it's basically a big old like community event gathering for this whole complex. It's like a rectangular building, and then there's a park in the center with all these apartments around it.
Oh, so it's not just a birthday party. It's
like all the local families and
thing?
It's more of a building wide thing. It's a little thing that we do, and it happens to coincide with Billy's birthday, so he's sort of man of the hour.
Oh, okay.
So there's going to be a lot of guests, is the thing, and you should be able to blend in, but I'm also worried about other people blending in too, and we're not going to be able to keep an eye on Billy all the time.
I wonder if the assailants are not particularly after the family themselves, but after the building in general, and they somehow want to use the kid as a pawn somehow.
Well, believe me, if you can figure out why these people seem to be after us in particular, by all means, we'd appreciate it so we could know how to stop them. But
have you talked to anyone else in the building about this?
I don't really want to make people panic.
Okay.
So and we also don't know like if someone there might be helping these people. We're kind of freaked out, and all we can do is just sort of pretend that everything's fine,
And everything will be fine. We'll handle it.
Okay. Well, they give you the details about where it's going to take place, sort of the basic layout of the building, and
all right,
sort of the event sort of basic schedule, and who they've hired to be entertainment. They've apparently hired a band and a clown, and catering.
Oh God, clowns!
So what we could do is
$10 says the clown is the culprit.
No, obviously not.
So a thing that we could do is pretend to be staff. Like we could have Gideon just be the leader of the group. Gustav could make fireworks or something. I could run some game stands, and I don't know what you do.
Hawkflight does surveillance.
I can work with that, or I can work on taking care of the animals. I don't know if they'll be there.
Right.
But it's kind of my job in a way.
Right. All right, no. But anyway, do we have any more questions we want to ask them before we head into the planning session?
Yeah. What time exactly does the party take place?
Tomorrow during the day, and it
Tomorrow
is,
during the
and
day,
and right now it is, it's actually getting into evening, so you really only have one time segment after the planning session to do legwork before it begins.
Okay.
All right.
This is
Have
going.
Have you checked the kids' gifts?
We're going to double check them, certainly, but they're not. They're also
Okay,
not.
cool.
Some of them aren't going to. Most of them probably aren't going to show up until tomorrow at the party anyway. We do have a few that we've gotten, and we're going to definitely
Fair
check
enough.
those. But I guess we'll have to get more wrapping paper to rewrap them. Oh man, what are they going to think though? No, we can't do that. It'll be
Yep.
What is the kid's temperament?
Billy.
Like, what kind of kid are we working with here?
I don't know. He's a little headstrong, likes, heroes, that sort of thing. Kind of gets in over his head a lot. But,
Okay.
but I mean, never like this. I don't know. Just,
Interesting.
when he wants to do something, it takes a lot to talk him down.
Oh, makes sense. I can see where this is going.
Yeah, no. I've got an idea for that, but I'm saving that for later. All right.
So, any other questions?
Do you have any kind of actually, no, never mind. Stupid question. No,
There are no stupid questions.
I was going to ask if there's any security, but then I realized, no, where's the security? So, yeah. That right there is a stupid question. So, there, I proved you wrong. Ha! So, no, I don't think there's really anything else. At least I can't think of anything.
All right, we're gonna.
Yeah, me neither.
We're gonna go home and do what we can to prepare, and I guess we'll see you tomorrow. I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see you tomorrow then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll see you then.
So as they leave, Diane sort of looks askance at you guys and says, "So this is not going to be your normal kind of job, as you can already tell. You've basically got tonight.
Yeah.
You've got tonight to do your legwork, and then tomorrow it is go time, and you'll just have to deal with whatever comes up."
Yep. I hear you.
So
Understood.
So
plan
Diana,
accordingly.
before you
Yep.
leave,
Yeah.
I was just wondering, do you have any kind of information on who might be interested in this?
I was actually about to mention, since you're asking, I'm a little unsure exactly who, but I have a sneaking suspicion, a strong suspicion, that it's more than one group that, for various reasons, has this family in their crosshairs.
Do you have any idea why?
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with the father's newspaper business specifically, but the mother, Martha Woods, her boss was implicated in the corruption scandal that was also connected to Magistrate Beauregard and, the little museum.
Right. I remember that.
So I think she didn't really have anything part of that, but her boss did. So there might be some splash over there. And as for the son, well, I don't know, but there definitely were figures of some kind who did stake out his school. And
Out of character.
Yeah.
You finish.
No, I was just rambling.
Okay, well, out of character, I know what I'm going to be doing during leg work if it's open, because I've got an 80% in navigate bureaucracy. So,
But anyway, so
which
Is it
makes it
just me,
hilarious.
or most of the is it just me, or is most of the suspicion, or is most of the concern not just for the individual kid, but for the kids of the school itself? It seems to me a lot of this is like taking out the school, or more big picture stuff that's bigger than just this one family.
Well,
If
that may be.
if that's the case, I'll look into that angle while you're doing your job tomorrow. But I think signs point to this particular family, and whether there is something involving the school later, that's not your concern right now.
Fair enough.
All right.
Your
Well, I did not
leg-
win my game of solitaire.
Yeah.
Also, I do have an 80%
you were
gossip with
you were actually
merchants.
playing. You just pulled up solitaire while all
Well,
this
no,
was.
no.
In character.
Okay.
My guy Simon was playing solitaire the entire time, and he did not win.
I
Rolled a 90.
totally could have seen you like just pulling up a window of solitaire and playing that in the background.
I mean, I could have.
That would have been so meta.
This is enough.
All right.
Yeah.
Diane says,
It's called method acting.
Jeez.
I've done some vetting of this family's claims, or else I wouldn't have posted the job. And it does seem like the kid was being targeted specifically, Billy, that is.
Right. And that's kind of my suspicion as well.
You know, I should have asked what kind of games he likes.
Jeez. We can figure that out at the party.
Yeah.
We can
So
definitely
I would
figure that
focus on, for legwork, either investigating, trying to get some clues on who might be after him, or making preparations for whatever role you'll be filling at the party, because you only have tonight to prepare.
out. Fair enough.
All right. I think I might case the joint, look around, see if there's anywhere that people might be able to get a shot on someone, because we don't want people in
Agreed.
those places.
Okay.
Or we should
So-
probably have
I can try.
the weir hide up in one of those places.
Yeah.
'Cause
I
long
guess
range.
we're going into
Diane
planning
says,
right now.
Diane
as well.
says, I will say this, I don't think assassination is on the menu for whoever's after these people.
Well, that's good.
That is very good.
Or at least not assassination like at the building. Too much heat for not enough reward.
Yeah, especially with
Perhaps the
these
kidnapping
people.
attempt.
Say that again?
Perhaps the kidnapping attempt.
Yeah, that's more what I'm thinking. But either way, our job, if we do our jobs right, that won't matter.
All right.
Diane gets up from the table and says, then I will leave you to it. You have everything I have, so.
All right, Diana, take care.
It's Diane, just Diane.
Diane, excuse me.
She
Yeah,
leaves,
Thank God.
and
Oh,
your
boy.
15 minutes of free planning starts now.
Not the self. Don't mess up her name again.
Okay.
Okay, so my immediate thought, because
Oh, actually, I'm
Again-
going to pause the timer. I wanted to say, I've been saying this to every group, but I need to say it one more time for you guys. Legwork should not be just a role-playing section where you ask me a question and I answer and we do, things one step at a time. When you describe your legwork scene, you should have the entire scene in mind and lay it out like your master plan. And only then, afterwards, do I introduce complications. So you get to make up, places, people you deal with. Just assume that it's going to go perfectly and you know what you get out of it.
And then we see how badly we fuck up.
pretty much.
Pretty much. Or at least I tell you, what's going to stop you or what you might not have considered in all that. But
Right.
narrate with confidence when it's time to lead your legwork scene. So that it goes
Okay.
a bit faster than before, because that was always the drag during the prologue sessions. Anyway, I'm resuming the timer now. Just keep that in mind.
Okay, so
Okay.
first thought that I had, since the majority of us, well, all of us, don't really have that good of combat skills,
Well, it seems like everybody has at least 65%.
more or less.
Yeah.
But just as far as security is concerned, my character has 2 influence points. I could use one of them to get my cartel to bring in some security, heavy muscles to kind of just surround the joint, make sure that nobody gets in or out that we don't want.
All right. That reminds me, Dread, what did you pick for your quirk?
Tinker is the current lead, so
Okay.
I can make mechanical items,
All right.
which ties in with the alchemy. So so next time we need heavy demolitions, I can remote detonate.
That sounds like a beautiful thing, but not for this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also dubious about letting you invent a radio wave.
Oh, no, it's not radio wave. It's just wires and the old push detonator.
Yeah. It's just
Better.
more like a, yeah. Anyway.
Besides, who doesn't love the image of me comically cackling as I push a plunger?
I want to say no, but the mental image I have in my mind is yes. But anyway, back to planning. Let's not deviate too much on
So
this.
what I can do is I can try to possess some bird of prey and try to get an aerial view. See if we can get a like a literal bird's eye view of the situation. See if we can spot anything from up there that might not be obvious from ground level. Like escape routes, potential security weaknesses, that kind of thing.
Just keep an eye on whoever's being suspicious and stuff like that. Yeah, I like that. So, Azure, you have an idea on what you're going
So
to do?
I was thinking of going to the complex and casing the joint to see if there's anyone lurking around that doesn't belong there.
Right.
Sounds like Hawkflight's got that covered.
This is, I think Hawkflight's thing is just during the birthday party itself. You could still do your legwork and actually, yeah, that is a good point. What are we going to do for our legwork scene? I guess I could,
That's what I was talking. That's what I was talking about.
That's
I thought we were talking about that work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
no, we're doing legwork
for the event.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Then you two could still do the thing, like having
so
more.
I just came up with another idea.
Oh,
I could go around the building, meet everyone that lives there, so that tomorrow in the party I can quickly identify people who do not belong there or are not from the building.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You could get me a list as well, then that would be even better. My goodness, we're having a list. This feels like a bar all of a sudden. I'm providing the bouncers. Wow. Well, this party got an upgrade.
Yeah.
So I assume going around and meeting everyone in the building would be a combination of case the joint and gossip with commoners.
Probably.
All right.
Yeah, so that sounds good. Dread?
Well, just looking at my skills, I've got appraise as like my ADs are appraise, conceal, gossip with merchants, and navigate bureaucracy. So probably approach it from the side of what's going on with the corruption case, figure out if there is a connection, and anything on that side.
And I will go with everyone and join in everyone's legwork scene.
Okay.
Because that's when I'm at my best.
All right.
When I'm not leading a legwork scene.
Yeah.
So I guess in this case, with me and my legwork scene, I guess we're all fine with me spending a influence point getting some beefier security, right? That's not
sure.
No one's against that. If that doesn't take up an entire legwork scene, I could also just talk around with the merchants in the area because that's more or less my specialty. Start asking them about the muscle guys. Start asking if they might have better ideas as to who they are, because if it is another cartel kind of muscling in, then the first thing they're going to do is want to start setting up protection rackets. And that might be a good idea to kind of get an idea on if there is another cartel who we're dealing with.
All right. So actually, speaking of influence, I could... Hold on a second.
Okay. Wow.
And on that point of possible cartel moving in, it might also be bloodied, so...
If it is bloodied, then I will have a very easy time.
I hate to interrupt, but it's blooded. Blooded.
Sorry.
Well, we're going to make it bloodied.
Blooded.
Regarding influence, I could use my influence to tap into the Forgotten Information Network and learn about the current state of a person or place. So I could probably
so you could pretty
find out about what's been going on around the people here.
Wow.
Assuming there are beggars and whatnot in the area.
Yeah, no, that would pretty much blow my leg scene out of the water. Kind of.
Well, same. But that works, because you approach it from the less than legal side, I approach from the legal side.
And I approach it from the money side. Though I doubt if all three of us are doing the same thing. What am I going to do now?
I mean,
You
There's
still
not-
might get different information out of it from the different approaches. It's more about casting a wide net in that case. Just a suggestion.
I'm fine with that,
So-
I guess.
Also, spending the influence, that's probably going to take up my legwork scene as well. So do I want to do that, or do I want to get the list of people that live and are going to be there tomorrow?
I think using influence to get a report from the Forgotten Information Network probably won't take a legwork scene.
Okay. So I can do both.
Yeah.
All right.
Though getting the family to get you some specialized muscle, that's more than just a few. Like either depends on whether you're getting like a few minions or like some actual heavy muscle.
Jeez, that's actually kind of a good question right there.
Well, if he's just using the usual suspects, then it's probably fine.
Well,
But
if that's the case, that's free, but I only have 4 of them,
Otherwise,
and they have to
yeah.
act as one unit, so I can't really spread them out. Or can I?
Well, you could spread them out. They'd take like one game relevant action per turn, basically.
Per turn route. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, would my usual suspects be enough security for this place, or how big is
Well,
this place anyway? I guess
If you use the usual suspects and your influence, you can get 14.
I could probably
people.
get 14 people right there, and
Yeah.
I think that's enough security. But then if I get muscles, that would take up my entire legwork scene. That's what I'm getting. That's what I think Spud is hinting at.
Or getting a large number of minions, either too. Like in terms of raw combat power, I think.
Yeah.
Also, there's a little more than 6 minutes remaining.
Yeah, I
Okay.
doubt that I'm going to be able to actually convince them to bring in some muscle, and that might actually add some more heat to our job. So I'd probably just look for just regular minions in this case, just a whole bunch of them to help out. And then if Spud is willing, I'll then, after spending my influence to get that all arranged, I'll go ahead and talk to some of the merchants before all their shops close.
You want to spend your influence to give you basically a few more usual suspects
Yes.
from your family contacts?
Yes, just enough to make sure that the place has adequate security.
Yeah, I can let you do that without spending a legwork scene.
Nice. Good.
I guess the question is, the people Mykin's going to be talking to, do they count as merchants or commoners?
I mean, I think he'd be talking to merchants.
Yes, I am specifically talking to the merchants that live in that area.
Okay, because
That-
I do have
yeah.
an 80 on that, so I can help out there.
Yeah, I have an
I'll
80 on
be
that
going
as well.
along.
So
Okay.
Well, nothing stopping you from joining a scene that someone else is leading.
yeah,
Yep.
we're more or
Plus-
less just deciding on which scenes we're actually leading on.
Yeah. Plus, if it's a family, I'll explain after the planning session, but I've got a story reason for connections.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, in any case, I should be useful in any scene that I am in.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So I'll let you decide on which scenes you want to join in. Hawkfight, yes?
I'll just
Sorry,
join
can you
all
still
of
hear
them.
me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I thought my microphone got out there for a second.
No,
So let's just confirm real quick what each of us is doing
Okay.
briefly.
All right. So I'm going to go to the apartment building or whatever and talk to the residents, find out who everyone is, so that I can determine who isn't supposed to be there tomorrow. Or who
Agreed. And I'm
is-
I'm joining you, and I'm going to possess a couple of animals to get a unique perspective on the area,
All right.
to sort of case a joint.
And
Red
after
Priest?
yeah.
Or Mykin.
Mm,
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
DreadPriest, you can go.
First scene, then?
No, we're just saying what we're going to be doing, I think.
Oh, yeah. I'll be going for the bureaucracy side, see what the case is going to be, like how that's going, and what the reports filed for it are. Figure out if there is a connection inside that would have reason to try and silence her.
I'm also going to spend my influence to get some information on the people watching the family from my network of information.
Yep. And then meanwhile, I'm using my influence to dredge up some more family minions, thugs, whatever, to help with security while I chatted up with some of the merchants around the place to go ahead and try to get more of an idea on who might actually be interested in this family and for what reason. If there's like
Awesome.
a cartel or something. I think that's basically it, unless
Alchemy.
alchemy. Yes.
Oh yeah, what alchemy things are you making?
What's the limit, Spud?
I think it's just one alchemical item, I think.
Yeah, it's one object, compound, or device. But it's just one of those trying to figure out like how much counts as one unit.
A compound
Probably-
probably like it must deal with the outside blah 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 blah.
Could you make a fog machine?
Let's say it has a distinct end result like that. I don't think it's something you have multiple charges of.
So it's a single
Okay.
use then?
Yeah, a single use alchemical item.
Okay, because I have a few ideas written down that might work for this. Things like flashbang, the Tanglefoot bags, which is basically just a glue bomb.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Both of those actually sound really useful. I'm leaning more towards the flashbang, to be perfectly honest, just in
I'm
case.
leaning more towards the glue bomb because there's less you can do about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flashbang, if you know it's coming, you can cover your eyes.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it would still
Plus,
deafen.
plus a glue bomb could be used to, like if somebody tries to spirit the kid away in a carriage, you can
40
make it try
seconds.
to stop that.
Glue
Okay.
bomb.
Glue
So,
bomb,
alright,
then.
what are you? So, all right.
Yes, that question. What is describing a harmful one aspect of its use dangerous to the user?
Well, considering that I can get caught in the material or caught in it and get slowed down trying to get out of the glue.
It might trigger. So you're saying it might trigger before you can get a safe distance.
Yeah.
All right, that is acceptable.
Or it
And
might just leak.
ooh, I'll take all that under advisement. But you're,
Do I have to use that phrase again? Do I have to use that goddamn phrase again?
Hmm?
We're such a dysfunctional group. Oh my goodness.
I'm
Anyway,
slightly
I love
joking,
it.
but your planning time is up, which means it is time for the first night segment. And for the four of you, there is automatically 4 heat entered into the pool.
Yay.
All right.
So, does anyone
Can we
want
send
to?
some of that heat up to New England? It's pretty cold up here.
Anyone have any particular desire to go first on their legwork scene? Or shall we just go around?
No for me. I will be right back.
All right.
Okay.
Azure, since you're casing the joint, that's usually a logical first step.
Yeah, sure.
All right, describe what you do.
So, I'm going to go to the building, and I'm going to go around and just try to find out about everyone that lives there by just either talking to them or talking to the people that know them.
Keep in mind, this is the evening, and most of the residents are going
Yeah.
to be in their homes.
Well, yeah, I'm going to be talking to them themselves. I'm just going to knock on their door.
What
And try to
excuse
get to
are
know
you?
them.
What excuse are you going to give them for why you're knocking on their
There's
door?
no possible way this could
Mm.
backfire.
Of course.
No, I
not.
mean, as long as they answer the door and I get to talk with them a little bit, I'll be able to see them, and that should be good enough. I don't particularly need a good reason. I can,
Since it's surfing.
yeah.
just say that you are just looking for information about the party. You're just wondering.
I don't want to give that information away.
Oh, selling Girl Scout cookies.
He doesn't have Girl Scout cookies.
You
He
know
doesn't
what?
have
Yes,
regular
that's
cookies.
the problem with that alibi.
I could say I'm going around seeing if anyone will buy these knickknacks or trinkets, because I have a bag full of knickknacks and trinkets of worth no monetary value. So
So
I
you're
could just
going
say
the
that I'm going
door-to-door
around.
salesman route, but with junk.
yeah, yep. Sure, no one will buy it, but it should give me enough time to see who the people are, find out who lives
Oh,
where.
no. chocolate frogs.
Yeah,
Nah,
we're
no.
going with the junk.
But
Okay.
what you could do is you could maybe turn into a small animal or something and just go inside their houses and look around to see if there's anyone that doesn't come to the door or they don't talk about.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Just make sure you manage to get out before they close the door if they don't have any windows open.
Ooh, that sounds fun. Okay.
Sounds like
I'm going to say, roll to gossip with commoners with 2 challenge dice.
All right. And since they're commoners, I also get 2 advantage dice.
That is true.
because natural charisma is a thing.
Salt of the earth.
Yep.
All right. Anything else for this? Okay.
Does your quirk come into effect for this?
55, 1 advantage. I mean, it could, but I don't need to
Okay.
because I got 1 advantage and I succeeded.
All right. You are good enough at pleasant conversation that, no one's particularly annoyed by your presence, even when it becomes increasingly clear that you're knocking on every single door in the complex.
Yep.
Which they catch on quickly to, and some people are even kind of dreading your arrival by the end. It's like, oh, that guy who's been knocking on everyone's doors. Word seems to travel fast in this complex. Everyone seems to know each other. It's not terribly big. It's just like 3 stories, rectangular. About I don't know, no more than like 40 homes total.
All right. And by the end of this, I should know everybody, and everybody should know me too.
That is going to probably be a consequence.
Yeah.
Not every door opens, but most of them do. It seems like there are a few that are unoccupied, or just whoever's inside is either not home or not answering. But
so I'll probably ask the people in the next rooms about the people that don't answer the door or the rooms that don't open.
Yeah, you can steer that topic of conversation and get to know all sorts of people. They don't have anything of especially of value to say about any suspicious goings on. Everyone seems sort of kind of dealing with their own crap to sum it all up. Their own jobs, their own lives. Everyone's, kind of excited for the party tomorrow, mostly so that the kids, get a chance to play together on a weekend. Yeah.
All right.
It's kind of a big catharsis for everybody. Because it seems like just about everybody in this complex is like, struggling for one reason or another. And you get to hear some of their stories as you're trying to sell them crap that they don't want to buy because
yeah.
You get to hear every
I'm
single
also not
excuse.
doing a very good job of actually selling the items because I don't actually want to sell them.
Well, the boon I'm giving you is that you're such a good conversationalist in this situation that it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I'm more so here just to make conversation rather than actually sell things.
Your salt of the earth presence is disarming.
Yep.
And so you get a tour of everyone, and everyone's face that you saw, and you are told about everyone that you missed. Though you don't get any like juicy gossip or any clue that might point you towards like a hidden culprit.
Well, I wasn't particularly expecting that anyway, so that's fine.
But yeah.
Anyway, if that's done, now I've got my influence that I'm spending.
Right. So your influence is, if I can actually pull up the...
Tap into the Forgotten Information Network to learn the current state of a person or place.
So what are you targeting, basically, with that influence? What person or what place?
So, I'm probably going to target the going-ons around the wife person. I forget their last name.
I don't think they gave us their last name.
No, it was.
They did.
It's Woods.
Woods.
Yeah.
Okay. No, never mind.
So I'm probably going to target the goings-ons around Mrs. Woods because she
I hear
seems
her
like
husband is a really great golf player.
No.
I'm not asking a regular person. I'm asking the information network.
The beggars and thieves that make up the Forgotten.
People tend to just ignore them, so they get a lot of information.
Forgotten is an odd cartel because it's not really like super organized. It's basically just a coalition of street gangs and beggars.
But they get a lot of information.
So it's kind of like the orcs of the cartels.
Jeez.
Nah, No, not really. Well, maybe. I don't know. They don't get invited to all the fancy parties.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to say you're targeting basically... Okay, so you're targeting Martha Woods. What the Forgotten Rumor Mill and Info Network has on her is that, she is... she is just not really the sort of person to be involved in the sort of illegal trades and whatnot that her boss
but
is
not
involved in.
just her, but also the things that have been going on around her.
Yeah, I'm getting to that.
Okay.
But her boss is seriously trying to cover his own ass to the point that you hear through grapevine that he might have hired a dredger to sort of find some way to investigate and find someone to sort of deflect his sins onto
Oh, jeez.
by digging up any dirt on his subordinates so he can throw them under the carriage, as it were.
Sounds legit.
He sounds like a nice guy.
I should clarify, it may be a dredger. They know that the boss has hired someone to do some sort of dirty work that may have involved... It's information and rumors. Nothing's too certain. But
all right.
But he seems to have hired someone, and Martha seems to be involved because even though she's the right kind of people can look at her and see that she is a straight shooter, but that her boss is getting desperate to try and wriggle out of this whole situation ever since the Magistrate's Black Ledger became a huge scandal.
Well, so that's some useful information.
Yeah, I would say so. And that kind of wraps up your part of the night, doesn't it?
I think so.
All right, who's next?
While that's happening, I assume... Yeah.
Answer is to... Yeah, pardon?
A Hawkflight's next, probably?
Yeah, the logical next scene would be further casing of the joint.
All right. So for the Weir, I'm assuming you're gonna... Well, actually, how about you just describe your scene first, and we'll see what it takes.
So here's the interesting thing about the Weir, is that the animal they possess has to be within line of sight, but once they possess an animal, they can just chain possess further animals without any sort of roll, or without any sort of line of sight, presumably. So what I was thinking was, I might just stay behind at the building and try to possess a bird of prey there, and from there, just go out, do my scouting, and if I need to possess another animal nearby, I can do that then.
If there are no birds of prey nearby, possess a pigeon and then go find a bird of prey.
Or that.
Okay, and what do you get out of the scene by doing that?
Well, I get a more intimate knowledge of the layout of the area, an aerial view of the location to better get an idea of possible escape routes, holes in security. Birds of prey have really good eyes, so they might be able to better spot like a small hole in a fence, for example, than a human would.
Well, sure.
Is that wrong?
I should probably describe the building based on what the Dabbler saw, which is
also what the plans we were given.
Yeah, and the plans you're given. It's a rectangular building with four entrances to the central park in the middle, and then from there doors to the various ground floor hallways, and then stairs up. But there's basically an open entrance, north and south, and then west and east, with basically a wrought iron gate keeping those closed during the night. And then there are some fire escapes on the outside of the building. There's doors to the interior hallways, and then staircases, and that's about it. It's a very basic building. But
okay, so we have that information then. Okay, so what I can also do is I can also Here's an idea. I could possess a dog, either a wild dog or someone's pet dog, and dogs have a really good sense of smell, so I could see if I can sniff out any traces of somebody who doesn't belong. Maybe maybe the people who are attempting to crash this whole event are using one particular area in particular in order to keep an eye on things, and I can sniff that out and use and keep an eye on that throughout the event.
Okay, I like that.
Okay, cool.
Then I'm going to say make you arrive at the building and let's see. Actually, just sort of as you're approaching, you see one of the residents walking his dog, basically, out in the little central plaza. And use sorcery with 4 challenge dice to attempt to possess
Not yet.
it. Oh, no?
Not yet. I'm going to try to sex things up a little by trying to create a better bond with the dog. Basically, I'm going to I'm going to walk up and say, "That's a lovely dog that you've got there. Is it okay if I give it a treat?"
So I would like to say that I am there with her, just to watch over her body and whatnot.
Sure, yeah. I want to point out something. Since you are a warden of the night, it is nighttime, but if you reveal yourself to a law-abiding citizen, you are conspicuous.
She's
Yes,
not
but I also have
conspicuous
the
in Commerce
Everman trait,
District.
which makes me inconspicuous.
Oh,
Yes, basically that.
You have...
Everyman.
You are not conspicuous. Ooh. Even if cartel says you normally would be, and you are in a commoner's district. So despite you being dressed up like, Nightwing, I assume.
Yeah,
with the mask and the hood pulled down.
I was going to go for Robin Hood, but...
Yeah, Robin Hood. Yeah, sure. With the mask and the hood or whatever pulled down, you look friendly and approachable enough that your gaudy attire doesn't really make you stand out so much to just a commoner. And you can approach the dog and, what are you intending?
I lean down and I'm going to pet the dog and give it a treat.
All right. Dog eats the treat out of your hand.
I pet the dog to try to basically I'm basically attempting to charm the dog.
Okay. Then
So
let's
handle an animal?
Yeah, make a roll to handle an animal.
Yeah, okie dokes. Let's see. Slash roll 1d100, correct?
Yep.
You can also just use a dash or a number symbol, also known as a hashtag.
Okay. Well, I'm
Pound
just
sign.
used to fair enough.
That too.
It all works. 19. You successfully charm the dog. So I assume then that once you've played around with the dog for a little while, you pretend to go on your merry way, duck into an alley, and then attempt the possession.
Exactly, yes.
All right. Make a use sorcery check with 1 advantage and 4 challenge dice.
All right.
Let's see. 2d8 e5. Semicolon. 5, not F. Sorry, 1d8 e5. And then 4 8 e5.
4d10 e5.
4d10 d5. Okay. So 1d8 e5 and 4d10 e5.
Yes.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay,
Correct.
cool. Oh!
You didn't make the skill check, but yes, I'm gonna that was 3 drawbacks. But you also need to make the use sorcery roll,
Oh,
Yeah.
the 1d100.
Hmm.
So you succeed with 3 drawbacks. Do you have
So
any suggestions for the cost or unintended consequences of
I
this
could
possession?
let you re-roll the entire thing with better lucky than good. It would have been better if you failed the check, but you didn't. So we could chance it again, see if you get a better results on the challenge dice. or we could just keep this and work with it.
Does better lucky than good work on other people's rolls?
Once per scene you are in, you can reroll all the dice, including all advantage and challenge dice, for a single check or attack, keeping the second result. And the other things specifically say for any roll you make. Since better lucky than good does not, I assume it works for any character.
I mean, the wording on this game is a little interesting at times, so it could be.
But for that one, then you've got Problem Solver. You add one advantage dice to any roll you make to overcome an obstacle in legwork scene that you're in but did not take lead on. And what could go wrong is when you push your luck, for every 10 luck you spend to increase your chance of success, you also add one advantage die to the roll, up to the maximum of 4 challenge dice in the roll.
Can you remind me how pushing your luck works again?
Pushing your luck.
You spend 10. Well, you spend at least.
You spend 10 luck to reduce the result of your check by 10. But you also add a challenge die to the roll. But if you already have 4 challenge die on the roll, you cannot push your luck.
And you don't really need to since you succeeded on your roll, so it's completely useless.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that if I did take the reroll and I failed the skill check, then I could push my luck.
Just to make a ruling on the better lucky than good. I think because of the word reroll, that sort of implies that it's the dice you rolled that you in the first place. Like you can't re-roll someone else's dice for their check.
Them re-roll them.
Yeah, but it's you re-roll all of the dice.
Yeah.
I don't feel like this was meant to be something you could give someone else.
That's a shame.
Okay. So for drawbacks, one possibility is the dog is on a leash, so that could.
So,
like I know it says rolls you make in the other ones, but
right, but then why would it have the? This might just be bad wording, but it also has the once per scene you're in.
There have been examples of bad wording in other parts, so
yeah, I guess so. But if it was just you can only re-roll your own checks, then the once per scene you are in would be redundant because you won't make any checks in a scene you're not in.
Yeah, but you might make multiple checks in a scene you're in too.
Yeah. All right.
Like you're the lucky one. Problem solver is how you help other people.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Okay.
That's how I'm going to rule it, pending maybe an email or a tweet to
errata.
Yeah. Like, all right. This is already post errata, so.
Oh, it's just evolving. What do they call it for the? I'm trying to remember what the FFG group called it for the living errata. Like they just kept updating it every few months with new tweaks that they found.
Yeah, but anyway, your drawbacks, Hawkflight.
So I can see. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so a couple of possibilities I was thinking of. One is the dog is on a leash, so it could take a while, some amount of time and effort in order for me to actually get away and actually try to sniff out the location where these people are hiding. Another possibility is that, based on the earlier discussion with animorphs, the dog's instincts could so overwhelm me that for a little while I lose myself, and it takes time for me to take control.
I basically understood that. Let's see. I'm going to say that I'm basically going to go with a mix of those two because you got 3 drawbacks. And basically what happens is that you possess the dog with the thought in your head, all right, let's sniff out something suspicious. The dog's consciousness kind of overwhelms yours, but is agreeable to you, and so he just takes that idea and runs with it. And I mean literally. He starts sniffing the air, finds... and he basically, goes off on his own, dragging his owner along, who is just, trying to tug on the leash, going, what the... He kind of lets the dog go, because he's like, what's going on, boy? What are you doing? But dog just, without any subtlety, without any patience, just but actually with like a bit more knowledge than you would on your own. So this might actually work out in your favor. He finds a couple of scents that that he was already like, that's not what's usually around this place, and he just books it.
Wow, nice.
So since this is actually going to kind of work out for you, I'm going to say that it is kind of suspicious after you met. So I'm going to say it resolves to like about another 2 heat on the pool, because it was a little suspicious that this just happened. But
Okay.
this, and you don't. But I'm describing a drawback that actually works for you. So I'm like, okay, how do I actually punish you? But so what happens then is the dog follows Nose to first place, which ends up being the groundskeeper's closet, and you can't get in because you don't have the key. The man on the leash doesn't have a key, but the dog
I don't have thumbs.
the dog is smelling this, and you know what you're getting through the dog's nose is this kind of smells like sulfurish, like what comes out of that loud thing.
Ooh.
Mm.
Someone got shot.
And you, so there's a gunpowder smell coming from the groundskeeper's closet, and then the dog runs off again to be like, oh, there was something else, and actually like goes inside into the building, and up the stairs, and starts like pawing at one of the apartment buildings, or one of the apartment doors, and you're like, there's like something weird in here too. You kind of sense the dog thinking, and finally his owner just yanks him back. Like, no, what has gotten into you today? No.
Can I see which apartment it is?
Yeah, you can see the apartment number.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's actually down the hall. Based on the information that was given to you and shared with you earlier, it's down the hall from where the Woods family is living.
Interesting.
So I take it that was one of the doors that didn't open when I went knocking?
Yep. When you cross-reference this information later, you'll find that out. So yeah, the dog found for you a suspicious closet and a suspicious apartment.
All right.
Awesome. That's good. That's good. That's good help. That's definitely good information.
All right. And I'm going to say that legwork is probably done, and you guys managed to get out of there before you draw any more suspicion.
Woohoo.
Which makes 2 out of 4.
Yep.
And is DreadPriest back yet, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, good. So, I think you said you wanted to go last, Dread?
Well, not going that first one, because I had to go take care of something. So.
Alright. So it's either mine or yours. I'll let you pick.
Well, also mine's kind of slightly blown out of the water, but I guess it will help for cross-referencing.
Yeah. I mean, the more information we get, the better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically seeing the legal situation around the boss's business and everything that's been going on with that. Well, as much as can find, because most of it would probably be hidden, because trying to make sure that you don't have someone sneak in and destroy the evidence. So it would probably be to the watch house, would be find out what's going on, and then where else would be appropriate, really.
Is this your legwork scene you're leading right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just the debating part for it.
Well,
in my head.
This is something you should have planned, before then. This is not a planning scene.
I had planned it. That's the figure. I'm just saying, is there anything else for it? Because we go to the watch station, find out what's going on.
I mean, this is your scene to write.
Okay.
You decide where you go and to get the information.
So not used to that.
I know this system gives you a lot more agency, a lot more free-form creativity.
There's a reason I prefer being a player rather than a DM. Okay. Well, yeah, it'll be check the with the local watch precinct about it. It would actually no, not the.
Right.
What am I thinking? No, the magistrate. I forgot that's the term. You don't have the judges inside the police stations, so it'd be check with the local magistrate about it. As concern over the situation, because it's one of those, the potential of him being connected to my funeral parlor as the cover story.
You're an embalmer?
Yeah, that's the character's trait I'm going with, the character style.
Gravedigger alchemist, right.
Yeah, which raises some other questions about the whole unknown alchemist. All alchemists are part of the guild that we have to resolve at some point.
Could be a rogue alchemist. I mean, how do you resolve the whole like right kind of people versus, honest alchemists thing when you have a guild like that? But anyway, just
kind of.
Where
it's just one of those.
Where do you go? Who do you talk to? What do you get out of it?
Okay, find out what the current information about the case building against the boss. That's what I'm getting out of it, and any legal paths that have been taken by the lawyer, because knowing him, he's probably got one of the slimiest lawyers he could find legally working for him. So go to the magistrate, trying to find out if there were any ties to the funeral parlor, which through the contacts I can figure out what the nearest parlor is, because I figure the Gravediggers have that interconnection.
Okay. I'm going to say the problem with this plan, the main challenge that is between you and securing a meeting with this magistrate, is that this case doesn't involve any deaths, so why is a funeral parlor getting involved?
Shit, that's right.
It's a corruption case.
Okay.
So, I'm going to say navigate bureaucracy with 2 challenge dice.
Okay. Find the firm. Just seeing what I know, see if there's any bonuses, and nope. Too late to change the plan for it. Oh well. Just because one of the other things was ward houses, so. D100.
Would I be of any use if I went along with this legwork scene?
Judge really the only one that can answer that. I can't think of anything.
I'm not sure, because...
Have you made your roll yet?
I was typing it when that question was asked, so I...
Oh, well, that's good.
You managed to BS your way to an excuse that in any case where, defendants might find themselves a flight risk or with criminal connections, that a funeral parlor needs to be informed in advance.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did you say a flight risk? Does this world have airplanes?
That just means flight from justice.
Flight as in to flee.
Oh, okay. That's right. I keep thinking that word
to go on the run from the law.
Oh, okay.
Go on the lam.
To try and escape, go to a non-extradition country, that sort of thing, to avoid indictment.
Okay.
So I don't think there's planes, but according to one of the jobs, there are hot air balloons.
I see there's just world-type dragons.
It does not, as far as anyone knows right now. Although that would be an awesome twist later on.
Yeah.
Dude, that makes for such an awesome heist, though, wouldn't it?
Anyway.
Still from a goddamn dragon.
Why would anyone do such a stupid thing?
Although really, that
book on it.
That sentence would basically just refer to stealing from someone high up in the Red Lotus Society.
Actually, I think that might be one of the sorceress.
It would make the dry run job a lot more exciting.
People.
Yeah, there are dragons. They're just
They're just martial artists.
Magical
martial artists.
Yep.
Okay.
Anyway, so you managed to get this meeting with this magistrate, who's very confused, but your paperwork seems to
It's
check
one
out.
of those so figuring out the finance, because remember, it's a accountant, so the boss, it wasn't an accounting business.
Yeah.
Okay, so therefore, connection of finances, trying to make sure that we got paid the full amount for the
Funeral services?
work we did. Well, it's one of those, if he's an accounting service, therefore, they probably have a number of contacts, and making sure that the money didn't get scraped off in between.
So like in wills and in inheritances.
Yeah,
Yeah.
trying to make sure that people didn't get cheated out of their money, and also that they didn't scrape it off for the payments to us, because there were a few irregularities found. That's the story. And we're seeing if it's from our end or their end.
Well done. That's even better than my excuse I handed you. All right, then. So,
Woo.
so now the judge understands. Like, I see. All right, then. I'll tell you what we know about the case. Basically, they're trying to motion that the evidence entered is illegitimate or false, but from where I'm sitting, looking at these two investigative teams, there is the Crown has assembled a pretty impressive prosecutorial team. Assembled a excellent prosecution, and even they note that they're not going to really wriggle away from this unless they can try and deflect onto someone else, or flip on someone bigger, basically. That's really how things are so far. As far as all the accounts involved, it's mostly just between accounts belonging to certain nobility, in exchange with several of these corrupt, these dastardly corrupt magistrates, in exchange for favors and rulings. Basically, buying parts of the law. So, a couple of senators were implicated. And those are the accounts that are in question. This particular boss it does seem like he did skim some of his clients' accounts in order to make some of these payments. So he's opened up to significant legal jeopardy there. But at this moment, that hasn't been conclusively proven, and the investigation is still ongoing.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Well, thank you. I hope everything goes smoothly for you on your end.
So do I. And then the creepy Tim Burton style walking out the door. Just think about it. He looked like he would. Just think about it. He would probably fit in Corpse Bride.
I am not picturing what you're describing because I have not.
It's just one of those. It looks very like
Goofy,
slightly unearthly,
sort of stilted.
Walking. Yeah.
Okay. Because the only Burton movie I've ever really seen enough of to remember is Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, that sort of.
Yeah, I was thinking Coraline.
Well.
I've not seen Coraline, but anyway.
Neither have I, but yeah.
Dude, you should.
So you're basically moving like you're moving in stop motion.
It's one of those, like, he's just projecting this image. So
what?
As soon as he's like out of sight, slight change, and puts on the Plague Doctor mask.
Inside a.
Once he's outside the building and in an alley.
I was about to say, like in a judicial building, you just like put on your cartel mask.
No.
Right
This
out,
is
dead.
no. This is once it's just once he's.
Sir, this is a courthouse and we're closing.
No.
I'm smart enough to wait till I get into the shadows outside.
Yeah, once I remind you.
No, that was my intention the whole time. I said once I'm outside,
okay,
out of sight, was what I had said originally. So,
all right,
yes, you did.
Okay, that's the end of that legwork. Mykin.
My turn. Yes. So I'm going to Okay, so we don't really need to discuss more about the influence thing. I just sent word that I'm going to need 10 low-ranking members to provide security to this place tomorrow at such and such a time.
Yep.
Someone to do that. And basically, the scene that I have in mind is mostly just near the building. I'm going to pick out all the places that are still open. I'm going to go in there and kind of just get to know them a little bit more, gossip with them just a little bit, just see how things are going, and get all the things that I discussed before about the objectives that I wanted to see. If any cartels are moving in, if protection money is being asked, just anything that really does not fit in this area that would provide some kind of threat or jeopardy to our job, more or less.
So is this in a merchant district?
I'm talking to all the merchants.
So probably.
Yeah,
So
the adjacent merchant district nearest to the Sunset Heights building.
Yeah,
All right. You're probably going solo then.
probably, but I'm in my element, so.
Although I think Gustav might be able to go with you without being conspicuous. Not sure if he'd be useful, but he might be able to go.
Noble, Docs, and Little Tanoa are the ones that I'm conspicuous in.
Yeah, mine's Little Noah, Tanoa, Docks, and Slums, so you're fine.
All right. So I guess it'll be, since the subject of whether they're being shaken down or not is kind of sensitive, I'm going to give you 1 challenge die on gossip with merchants.
Okay, and since they are merchants, I get 2 advantage dice.
That is true.
So, here's hoping.
Success
Well-
with a drawback.
Yeah, better than
Alright.
nothing.
Hmm.
I would laugh if they just saw me in family attire and assumed that I was trying to shake them down. I would laugh because then Gideon would just have to panically try to calm them down and say, that's not what he's here for.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens.
Oh, you son of a...
The drawback is that one of the merchants assumes that you're trying to shake them down for protection.
You're going to make me have to roll convince someone just to get him to calm down, aren't you?
Yep, convince someone with 3 challenge dice.
But also 2 advantage dice.
I know, but seriously, 3.
And that was on an 11.
I was on an 11.
Well,
Oh, thank
hey,
goodness.
you succeed.
4 and 1
It
and
cancels
1.
out.
You
Oh, it cancels out.
you managed to calm down that particular merchant and explain that no, you were not offering. You were just asking about the health of the trade, as it were.
Gideon's going to have a nice long drink after this.
Also, just out of character, if you also need hookah, that's the in-story connection I had planned. Because I did see that various hookah joints have cartel or alchemists
Well,
modify
he's a bit of a high-strung individual, but at the moment, considering there's a job tomorrow, he doesn't want to get that high.
You wouldn't be getting that high from it, really.
No, this is Gideon. He will get that high.
Gideon is the sophist boy.
Yes. He does not belong here, but he is here. And he's going to make the best out of the worst situation he's been given. All right. So what do I find, Spud?
You find that there's doesn't seem to be any sort of turf being fought over here. There's some local street gangs that probably going to get rolled up into the Forgotten or probably even the Circle, but no one seems to have made any overt moves on this territory yet, and it doesn't seem to have anyone it overtly belongs to. Everyone seems to be, implicitly aware that the castle is, the castle and the circle that surrounds it is kind of around the corner, but no one seems to be sure if they're making any overt moves into this district yet for turf purposes or money purposes.
Okay.
And no one's really aware of any other cartels trying to move in on this spot either.
Okay, so
Although,
there's really
uh,
okay.
one person does say that in this area there was a robbery recently,
Oh,
and people suspect that it might have been one of the cartels. They apparently they had loaded a carriage full of stolen goods and ridden off into the night. And
it was a. Oh, continue,
Seems like
continue.
that job turned out well.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds familiar, but I'm not going to give them that hint.
I'm gonna say that it's not any job that's like been run by a PC crew.
Okay.
Oh, so it's
Okay,
just
so it wasn't a
unrelated
bank.
to the bank job.
Yeah.
We don't
Okay,
have those
so-
complications yet.
Did
That's
they
interesting.
happen to know what was stolen, perchance?
One of them seems to know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy, and it's something to do with Vladich artifacts.
Oh,
Huh. But that doesn't really help us here.
Which to them suggests that it might have been the Circle involved, because
Okay.
they're all over that sort of thing.
They are.
They're all
Indeed.
about the heritage of the homeland.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They also say that they heard from a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy that the carriage they'd been in a hurry. The carriage was rickety, and the canvas covering it had not been tied down securely. It sounded like stuff was falling off of it.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh jeez. Oh, okay. Sorry. Anything else?
No, that's it.
What?
That's it. I get the feeling that little Jimmy accidentally grabbed something he wasn't supposed to.
Yep.
The Circle was trying to get it back. Oh, boy, this is going to be beautiful. This is going to be beautiful.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
boy.
hmm.
You know what? Just for that piece of information, the light bulb goes in Gideon's head. He says, thank you. And then he just buys something from that merchant just to pay him back for that piece of information.
He is perplexed, but thanks you for your patronage.
The question is, what merchant was it? Like, what was in the shop?
It was shoes.
I got
Hey,
myself
new pair of shoes.
a spiffy pair of shoes.
Was it the cobbler?
It's probably the cobbler.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it was just randomly the cobbler.
From the squirrel job?
From
Or
the
some
nut
random cobbler.
the nut job, yeah.
Yeah.
What
nice
was
then.
I'm gonna look up his name because I wrote it down not on the site but on my sheet. Evan the cobbler.
Right.
Mm.
Well, thank you, Evan. I hope you're good. If you ever need a warehouse, please remember to name Bashir.
Sure, if I ever manage to produce hundreds of shoes in a day.
No.
I'm going to mark down him as having an appearance here.
I was going to say, we've got another recurring character.
Well,
Well,
this was already
for another group.
this was already a recurring character for another group.
Okay.
so if anyone in that group had any story conflicts tied to him,
No.
plus one.
No, not for that. He's just going to get
Yeah.
another notch on his number of appearances.
Oh.
Which means he'll be providing more advantage dice when he shows up as an ally again.
Yep.
Well, good for them.
Yeah.
Though I probably shouldn't award a reappearance just for randomly showing up on a whim, but I kind of want to get the ball rolling on the recurring characters, so I'll let him have I'll let him have an extra
Well,
charge.
for y'all Marvel Connected Universe up in here.
Yeah. And who knows? Maybe he'll remember the whole warehouse thing job, or another crew needs a job, or needs a
Ooh,
warehouse or
that-
something, and pass it along. And Bashir gets some patronage. Yay!
I will
Ah.
I will keep that in mind that he might know someone in the Bashir family who has a warehouse. Sure.
Yes. There we go. But anyway, so with that all taken care of, shoot, now I actually want to go straight back to the family, but it's probably too late for that. So I'll probably go back and
Why do you want to go straight back to the family?
because if I want to confirm the fact that their son might have grabbed something he shouldn't have, but that can wait till later.
Might be
I'm not
that,
sure.
or
I'm not
it
sure the
might
family
be-
would know that
Probably not.
because the family didn't pull the job.
By
and
family,
not
I think he means the Woods family.
Yeah.
the Woods family.
Oh, I thought you meant the cartel.
No.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
don't worry. Gideon made the exact same mistake. It's why he's here.
Are we sure that seems like the kind of thing that can wait? Oh, by the way, your kid might have actually stolen an artifact from the server. Just thought you might want to know that little piece of information.
Or someone else took it and is going to give it as a present.
Oh, that's even worse.
Or that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we did tell. No, wait. They decided against it, didn't they? The Woods about opening up all the presents, just making sure that it's all safe.
Yeah, because then they'd have to
Yeah.
rewrap
No,
it.
they
and
didn't
then-
decide against it. I thought they said they were definitely
They
going to
were going
but most of the
yeah,
presents would arrive until tomorrow.
Yeah, they were going to check the stuff they had, but then they thought about the wrapping paper and doing all that stuff and decided against it because it would be too suspicious.
And there'd be too many presents coming in the next day as well.
Yeah. So on top of making sure that the family is safe, we have to make sure that all the presents stay together. It feels like we're going up against the Grinch. Yay.
Well, it is December.
Gideon versus the
This
Crimson
suddenly-
Lions versus the Grinch.
This suddenly turned into a Christmas job, and I didn't even intend that.
Mount Crumpets might be missing its peak.
All right.
Not on my watch. All right.
So
Gustav would just take it as a challenge.
I know.
since-
Anyway, go
Okay.
ahead, Spud.
if I can have the floor for a second,
The floor is yours.
since it is we're at the halfway mark, I want to start with a break, come back in about 5 minutes, and resume for part 2,
All right.
Sweet.
which will
Sounds
be the party itself.
Boy, imagine if this had like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So, in that case, we will break for part 1 of the birthday job.